Okay, I was afraid, and at the same time, I was laughing. It's something
Good.
strange for me.
This is good.
Do you think this is like a trip for the darkest area of the humanity? This movie.
Do I think it's a trip for the dark? Yes, I do. I think it represents. It kind of shines a light on our worst nature, and it's scary and subversive and kind of fun too.
We have an opportunity here to teach these people. These are not real people.
So Damon, how did you came out with the idea of this story? I know about the book,
Sure.
but it could be like very actual.
You're talking about Most Dangerous Game?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so like this has long been a genre convention, the idea of the most dangerous game to hunt is another man. But for us, it all started with conspiracy theory and this idea of people really believe in insane ideas about the world. And so we wondered, is there some conspiracy theory that's so crazy, so insane, that if it came true, would that make for an interesting movie? And The Hunt was kind of the result of that.
What's happening? What is all of this?
Did you see that article? Every year, these liberal elites kidnap a bunch of normal folks like us.
How was the experience to be hunted?
Scary, very scary. I normally do comedies, which are like fun and light, and all of a sudden you're running through a field, there's a pig there, and bullets are whizzing by you, so it was very exhilarating. Director really made it set up so you feel like, if you don't run, you're gonna get killed.
What kind of sick people would even think of something like that? White people. We're even worse.
But you think the reaction of the crowd, it depends too much about the country, because maybe in Sweden it could be like science fiction,
Right.
But in Mexico it could be very, very real.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like the more time goes on, the less far-fetched it seems.
Yeah. This time next year, we're going to be like, it's a documentary.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, from our perspective, writing it in America and it has American characters, it's very much about the moment in America right now. I don't know what's happening in other places around the world, but ultimately I feel like the message is a universal one, which is that there are different political ideologies in any country, and when you stop talking to one another and having conversations across a dinner table, when you're fighting with members of your own family, when you start making judgments about someone based on the way that they dress or the way that they talk, that's very, very bad. And the people who have those beliefs things don't turn out well for them in this film.
The last I heard, free speech still exists.
Don't First Amendment me.
It wasn't real.
Yes, how do you, for discrimination and violence, is like very sensible to talk about now, no?
Well, anytime that you're depicting violence, there should be an intention behind it. And I think it was very important for us that the movie doesn't glorify violence. And in fact, I think, for lack of a better word, we're trolling we're trying to shine a light on a certain ridiculous degree of it. I think that the violence in the movie is designed by Craig Zobel, the director, to be very over the top and very satiric. And if we were doing a different kind of movie, I think we would be depicting the violence somewhat differently.
I'm playing an Arab refugee, but I identify as white. I think that's problematic too, in some way.
Everybody get out of here!
We were joking.
So Betty, it seems that you are ready to fight in the UFC. You have like a lot of physical preparation for this movie.
Yeah, I did a lot of physical training, and I wrestle on the show Glow, so I've had a lot of fight training, but a lot of fake fighting training, so I could punch you perfectly, but take it this far from your face. I think if I got in a real bar fight, I would be, guiding the person to the ground very softly with their consent. I don't think I would be an actual good fighter.
There's been a killing spree. You got to come here right now.
You actually believed we were hunting human beings for sport.
As a comedian, how was the experience to do these scenes so violent?
I mean, it was good. The director is so wonderful when he's with actors. He knows how to talk to actors, and he himself likes to laugh a lot. So it wasn't like, sometimes I've done dramas or action movies where everyone's very serious, and that's not as fun. But you have a director who understands the material he's making is both scary and funny. So even the scenes where we're dying, you weren't stressed out. It wasn't unpleasant. It was actually quite lovely. I recommend it.
This time,
I love your face from the all the movie. In all the movie, you were like, come on, this is really happening to me. I have already a hard life.
Right, yes,
No?
yeah.
What's your feelings of Crystal?
Well, I think that in many ways, Crystal is not the protagonist in her own life. I think she's living her life day to day. I think sometimes it can be a privileged thing to have big dreams and be the lead in your own story. I think Crystal's just surviving day to day. And I think that at every turn in the movie, she's telling the movie, I don't want to be the lead of this movie. I want to go home. I don't want to save the world. I just want to go home. I don't want to save this guy. I don't like him. And I think that slowly but surely, she remembers that there's this little dormant warrior inside her that has always been looking for the opportunity to take the reins and save the day. And I think she just forgot about that part of herself. And finally, she can't deny it anymore. But you are.
Jason, you're afraid of something, some topics that you choose not to talk about in your movie?
I mean, is anything off limits? I don't know. I haven't found anything yet, but I think whatever is happening in the world, there's some version of a movie or a TV show about it.
This is a wild game of survival.